example, okay? So we've got breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then there's kind of a snack in between there. So, also write this down too. You see this, right? Thank you. I want you guys to Google CrossFit Journal issue number 21. It's free, it's a PDF, and it looks like this. This thing has existed since 2004. I know CrossFitters personally that have used it since 2004, and inside there are block charts that look like this. I'll explain the importance of this right now, right? So the block charts. Thank you. The unit of measurement that we use for food in the zone are called blocks. And let me just show you the example, and then I'll explain it. When I started this thing, since we're all guys here, I can talk about it, right? I was on, they have this thing that'll tell you, based on your body mass and your activity level, you have to eat a certain amount of blocks per day, right? And when I started, I was on 17 blocks per day, which meant I had a 5-block breakfast, 5-block lunch, 5-block dinner, 1-block snack, 1-block snack. That added up to 17. With me so far? So here's what the 5-block breakfast looked like. I need 5 blocks of protein, 5 blocks of carbohydrate, 5 blocks of fat. That was equal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. For snack, I needed 1 block of protein, 1 block of carb, 1 block of fat. So, I'll show you guys what this looks like. A 5-block breakfast, just to keep it simple, but I think I'm right. Something like 3 eggs and 2 ounces of meat. That's my 5 blocks of protein, right? My 5 block of carbohydrate was 3 cups of broccoli and red pepper, and that is 1 cup of strawberries and blueberries. And my 5 blocks of fat was 15 almonds.
So 3 cups. It was the ounces. 3 cups and
right.
1 cup.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah. So here's how I arrived at those amounts. Inside CrossFit Journal issue 21, they have block charts for 80% of the food that is known to mankind that they eat. And each of these things are representative of 1 block. I know, just because I know it, that 1 egg is a block, 1 ounce of meat is a block. For seafood and ground beef, it's usually 1.5 blocks. Right? So, but that's that. And for the carbohydrates, another thing to know too, fruits and vegetables are themselves carbohydrates. I know usually when you ask people what's a carbohydrate, they'll say, you know, rice, pasta, Doritos, right? But if you ask them what a fruit and vegetable is, they'll just say, oh, it's just a fruit and vegetable. But no, it's actually a carbohydrate, right? And same thing with the fat. I just know that 3 almonds was 1 block of fat, right? So the actual way that's measured is 1 block of protein is 7 grams of protein. 1 block of carbohydrate is 9 grams of carbohydrate. And 1 block of fat is 1.5 grams of fat. Okay, so it was distilled into the block charts, right? Same thing with the 1 block snack. I know that I usually had 1 ounce of deli meat. I had a 1/2 cup of strawberries, and what did I use? I think I had 6 peanuts. That was my snack, right? But notice what's going on here. You will never have a meal where these 3 things are not present. We think of food in so far as the 3 main macronutrients: the protein, carbohydrate, and fat. And the micronutrients, if you do it right, will take care of themselves if you actually do it like this. You're not necessarily worried about vitamins and minerals, because look at what's going on here. That's just 1 meal. That's a shit ton of fruits and vegetables, right? Same thing with this. So if you do it right, the small stuff will take care of themselves. That being said, the zone itself, we can make it more complicated than issue 21, but we can't make it more simpler than that. For example, I remember one night I was in school, it was 9 p.m., I was in a lecture, I was starving, and the cafeteria was closed. But I knew how to zone, and all that was open was a student store. So I basically zoned beef jerky, Doritos, and trail mix, and it worked, right? It's a very different meal than zoning salmon, broccoli, and slivered almonds. But still, the idea was there. And I remember,
what do you mean it worked?
What I mean by that is that I'm not just looking at the hormonal balance, the insulin glucagon balance. I could still feel that I wasn't so led astray by if I just ate the whole bag of Doritos and walked away, right? I still was able to maintain some semblance of balance. It's not ideal, right? I know when this was first introduced, there was a guy who zoned beef and beer, right? That's all he did. He just zoned beef and beer. But
Nice.
with his 6 a.m. cohort, it worked in that he still got better and he beat all his friends. Right? That's how powerful this stuff is. But like I said, not ideal. Okay?
So to you, it's like the Doritos and the strawberries are the same thing as long as you look at how many grams of carbs there are. Well, not ideally.
Yeah, not ideally, right? If I had the choice, I would pick the strawberries. And I remember too, I was so frustrated because I think there were like 6 Doritos left in the bag that I couldn't eat. So like it was just like, you know, but whatever. So that's, like I said, not ideal, but you can still make the best of it. You're still using the zone, still accurate and precise, right? Because there are purists on both sides. Usually the paleo side's like, oh, I'll never eat a Dorito. I'll rather starve, you know. So I'm not like that at all. I don't encourage going 100% paleo or 100% zone at the expense of the other. They're perfectly interdependent, just like the 10 general physical skills. So
I have a quick question.
Yes.
The phrase downstairs, the last half of that phrase is the one that will always get me, which is enough to support.
Yes.
That's where like I can do all of
Sure.
it. It's that number, like it just seems like such a open-ended.
Yes.
What's the last part?
The last part. Okay, so the question was, because you know, we all know the first sentence is eat meat and vegetables, nuts, seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. The sentence that follows that is eat in quantities such that it supports lean body mass, but not body fat. Right? I understand. It's very open-ended. It's supposed to be, because it's obviously different for everyone. In the zone, of course, it's not like, because this 17 block. Here's how I arrived at the 17 block. On page 2, it has medium male 17 blocks. That's how I got the 17 blocks, right? There's this whole measure your body fat thing and do the 0.7, you know, calculation of your activity level and blah blah blah. But I just went by this at the time. 17 blocks. That's how it worked, right? Large male, they've got numbers for you. Hard gainers, they've got numbers for you. There's no hard gainers in here, right? But that's how I arrived at that. Now, that being said, this is your answer, by the way, right? Just the zone. But here's how it looks. Whatever your block prescription is, here's what's going to happen. Let's say, depending on the diet that you came from, so let's say you came from a diet that was very hyperinsulinemic, lots of carbohydrates going on. So you're basically hanging out in hyperinsulinemia, but your body is used to it. So have any of you guys known alcoholics or drug addicts who are withdrawing, who are like trying to come off, right? And did you know them during their withdrawal stage? Yeah. So were they at all pleasant? Okay. So like I have too. And the thing is, we are addicted to high glycemic carbohydrates by the same mechanisms that we are addicted to crack and cocaine. I shit you not, right? It's going to be, if you do this for the first 2 weeks, it may or may not be a miserable experience. Miserable, because you're coming down off of an addiction you didn't know you had. But just like all the withdrawal stuff, it's worth it once you get over that hump, right? So I'm just putting that out there right now. If you came from a diet that looked like chili cheeseburgers, ice cream, nitrates, hot dogs, like if you just came from a bad fucking diet where it was not the first sentence at all, it may or may not be a miserable experience for you, at first. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Once you get over that hump though, it's freaking awesome. So we know how the blocks work, we know what the block charts look like, we know what it looks like throughout the day, right? So now, and the breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner, snack is arbitrary. That's just an example. It doesn't have to be 5 meals a day. It could be like 4 meals or 3 meals. But the thing is, you don't want to go over 5 blocks per meal, and you don't want more than 5 hours between meals. Those are just some guidelines, right? So now, if you don't want to weigh and measure, here's what you do. Here's what a lot of us do. You have your plate, you split the plate into thirds, and 1/3 of the plate is your protein, and your protein is the size and thickness of your palm, right? Size and thickness of your palm. Try to keep it try to keep it lean too, right? Protein, size and thickness of your palm. The other 2/3, overload the plate with vegetables. The more colorful, the better, right? So it should look like Christmas, right? Greens and reds. And 1 cup of fruit, per se. You throw on some nuts, throw in some oils, ideally maybe olive, right? But if it looks roughly like this, you're good to go. If it looks roughly like this. A lot of us, when we go out, generally go straight to the salad section and order something. We order like a salad with double the meat, and we're generally safe. If you have a sweet tooth like me, you love the ice cream and stuff, don't change anything. Just the protein is the same, size and thickness of your palm. Don't eat anything, and eat half the dessert, and you'll be okay. All right, that's how that works.
Don't eat any carbs.
Yeah, right.
Or
It's
veggies.
just basically steak, mud pie.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.